makes me wonder if the Drew Barrymore show will be okay, because she did try to go back to work, but all of her writers now, they fucking quit. They quit because they were in that picket line and she didn't care. And she eventually did say, we're not going to do it. But she said there's only 3. Well, she cried. We talked about it. She cried. It was a whole thing. And I feel bad for her because, again, she's probably being pushed by the studio. She's being pushed by the AMPT fucking P, being pushed by everybody to get back to work. And it's like, at that point, what do you do as a talent? Like this is your 4th season going in. You're trying to figure stuff out. Like, you have how many crew members? It's tough. It's a tough decision. But she decided to go back to work. Her writers picketed. They ended up getting audience members to picket with them. And then on top of that, they actually stopped and they didn't go back to work. Strike's done and they quit. It's happening. All 3 of them quit. They said they've been there since season 1 writing, and they've been 3 of them, and they've been like a cohesive force this whole time too. They're all called co-head writers the whole time. And they're actually, like for them, Chelsea White, Christina Kanan, and Liz Coe, for them, they said that just didn't make sense for them to keep forward. And Drew Barrymore's awesome. I love Drew Barrymore. She's fucking great. Honestly, she's a freaking wet dream for anybody that's from the 90s. You know what I mean? Great woman, talented, fucking fantastic, girl next door. I feel bad for her, but I also see this as a logistic thing that these people probably were like, we can't go back to work after all this. So her people left. What do you think about this? Sabrina, do you think this is a bad thing for them to leave, or should they have just gone back to work, because she did stop, and then should they have gone back to work and keep writing for it? Because they've been there for 3 seasons already.
Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't have gone back to work either. Like the big thing was, I think for them is that they did not have any information like from their crew, from her, like basically their boss, like to say that this is what we're going to do. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of annoying. So I feel like they not only felt like she was not doing the right thing, but also that she didn't have the common fucking courtesy to contact them and be like, hey, listen, this is what the network wants me to do, or this is what I want to do, or however it came about. Reach out, have a chat. Like, they were with her since season 1. This is the 4th season. So for 3 years, they collaborated together in a writer's room to figure out, how they were going to run the show. And it's really disrespectful and fucked up, that the show didn't reach out, or Drew didn't reach out herself, to try to kind of figure things out. And I just feel like that's, as someone who worked on set and decisions have been made without, someone reaching out to you or like properly explaining things, like it's not fucking cool. How hard is it? There's 3 people, 3 writers, like make a fucking phone call.
3 writers.
Send a fucking email. I don't know. So I think that they were just pissed off about that. They found out that she was going back through social media, like they were giving away tickets or something. So I understand their anger, and I understand their decision. You're a queen. You're right. They will absolutely find other writers. They will. 100%.
They're actually already interviewing people, so they're going to go back. So they have to. They have to find writers.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I don't think it's going to be difficult to do that either. I mean, you're not going to have the same feel of the show if all of your head writers left. Like, they all shared like co-head writer. What was
co-head writer?
Co-head writer, right? So it's 3 of them co-head writers. I mean, it's not going to have the same feel. So they're going to be specifically looking for that. But at the same time, there's a ton of writers, and everyone's been out of work for a long time. So you're right. It's not going to be easy. But I agree with them. I feel like.
Chaotic situation.
I feel like I probably would have been like,
chaotic situation.
It's you feel disrespected when you feel like you're part of a family and you feel like you're part of something. You're a cog in that wheel, like, and then you get fucked in the ass. Like
no lube. Yeah, no, it's tough.
Well, you know what, Sabrina, you bring up
what, David?
Point.
Hi,
how are you? Sabrina Torrey, David Goldsmith here. I have the floor.
Hi, so nice to meet you. You're amazing.
What you brought up an interesting point that America needs to be aware.
When I had the floor.
Yeah, when you had the floor that I just took.
Right. Oh, okay.
Why don't you drink up, Johnny? All right. Anyway, point is, there is no such thing as family in this industry. We say that word all the time. Oh my God, they're so generous.
But you feel it.
You feel it, but you know what? When push comes to shove, everyone's out for themselves. Drew Barrymore is a wonderful human being, almost hairless, lovely human being. The bottom line is, she was taking care of.
Ooh, nice picture.
Yeah, I took that. She
great picture.
Yeah, well, it was a fun day. I made hot dogs. The point is, she was taking care of herself. And, sometimes self and family don't intermix the way they should. And the reality is, this is an industry. And as much as you feel like there's a family involved, everyone's out for themselves. And in this situation, Drew misstepped. I don't think she did anything wrong. I think it was well-intentioned. But I agree with you, Sabrina. She should have made a phone call. Hey, writer friends, I'm going to do you a solid. Let's get back to work. And they would have said, no, don't do it. And then they would have stopped, and they'd all be together again.
Yeah.
The reality is it's not a family. It's a business.
But also, like, okay, when you work,
everybody's going backwards. Writers are.
I know you've worked in TV a lot, but you do a lot of movies, right? Movies are different, right? They're one run and that's it. When you work on exactly. So that's my point. Like when you work on a show for fucking 7 years or 10 years or fucking 3 years or 5 years, it's different. Like it's I'm not saying that a movie doesn't feel like family because it does. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like when you are year and year again, like, you know, and plus she started over the fucking pandemic. Like there, you know what I mean? It was like this whole like different sort of camaraderie. They were the only people that they were allowed to see outside of quarantine. Like, and that's fucked up that you don't make a fucking phone call. Like just do your due diligence.
Exactly my point. My point is it feels like a family. And with all those things you just mentioned, which are
it's 100% not. I've been taught that a million times, but that doesn't mean it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't mean that you don't deserve respect.
Yeah, but that's why there's so many problems in our industry.
Yeah, if you make the decision and you make the conscious choice of like making like decision and saying like, okay, well, I know best, I'm going to do this anyway, without even any conversation, you know, beforehand. Yeah, of course, it's like, all right, well, now I don't feel like a family because I'm not included in decision making, or just like in general, like it's not fun.
It's just I'm not faulting her. I'm sure she was pressured to make that decision. It just would have been smart for her to reach out to the to her writers and be like, this is what they want me to do. Like, how do you know what I mean? Like, and you're especially as a talk show host, you're very close to your writers.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They do your monologue. They do, you know what I mean? Like,
you are segment.
You're in the fucking room. It's not like you just get handed copy and you're like, oh, okay, this is what I'm gonna do.
Happen.
Like you are very involved in the process. So for her to reach out and do that, I think is, you know, very, you know, what's the right word? It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do, period. And what's going on out there?
Brandon, do you think that she'll be okay? You think she'll be okay, though, after all is said and done? She'll get a new team? She'll be okay? That she'll continue for 5 more seasons?
Honestly, what Sabrina just said is perfect. Like, you are, as a talk show host, you are really...
I love perfect. Thank you.
You are really, really close to your writers. So, like, the fact that this even happened is actually quite a big deal. And, like, you can't just get that relationship back willy-nilly with 3 other people. It'll take some time. So, yeah, no, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's like, you know, it starts off like at least decently mediocre, because it probably will be. And then...
they'll find their stride.